Welcome again to the Friday class of Bioholic with me, Olivia. Today's class is all about pancreatic hormones. I mean the insulin, glucagon, somatostatin and their important functions. So, let's start. We all know that pancreas is a mixed gland that has both endocrine and exocrine functions. Endocrine functions of pancreas is performed by the islets of Langerhans, and human pancreas contains about 1 to 2 millions of islets. Islets of Langerhans consists of 4 types of cells. Firstly, the A cells or the alpha cells that constitutes about 25% of total islets, and it secretes the glucagon hormone. Secondly, the B cells or beta cells. This constitutes about 60% of total islets, which secrete the insulin hormone. Thirdly, the D cells or delta cells. It constitutes only 10% of total islets and it secretes somatostatin. And lastly, F cells or PP cells. It is present in very small amount and it secretes the pancreatic polypeptides. So this is the anatomical structure of pancreas that contains the pancreatic acini, pancreatic islets and pancreatic ducts. Clear? Now let's learn briefly about the pancreatic hormones. First of all is the insulin. It is a polypeptide with 51 amino acids and it contains 2 amino acid chains, alpha and beta. The molecular weight of insulin is 5808 and the half-life of insulin is 5 minutes. The plasma level of insulin is 10 microU per ml and it is synthesized as pre-proinsulin that gives rise to proinsulin. Proinsulin is converted into insulin and C-peptide through a series of peptide cleavages. C-peptide is a connecting peptide that connects the alpha and beta chains. At the time of secretion, C-peptide is detached. And insulin is ultimately degraded in liver and kidney by a cellular enzyme called insulin protease or insulin degrading enzyme. Now the mode of action of insulin. On the target cell, insulin binds with the receptor protein and forms the insulin receptor complex. Suppose this is the structure of an insulin receptor. You can see that here 2 subunits are there, the alpha subunit and the beta subunit. The alpha part contains the insulin binding site, and this is the disulfide bridge that connects the alpha subunit to the beta subunit. So, insulin receptor is a glycoprotein with a molecular weight of 3,40,000. It is present in almost all the cells of the body. Insulin receptor is a tetramer formed by 4 glycoprotein subunits, 2 alpha and 2 beta. The alpha subunits protrude out of the cell and the beta subunits protrude inside the cells. The alpha and beta subunits are linked to each other by the disulfide bonds. Intracellular surfaces of alpha subunits have the tyrosine kinase activity. When insulin binds with alpha subunits of the receptor protein, the tyrosine kinase at the beta subunit is activated by means of autophosphorylation. Activated tyrosine kinase acts on many intracellular enzymes by phosphorylating or dephosphorylating them, so that some of the enzymes are activated while others are inactivated. Thus, insulin action is mediated. Now, how the insulin secretion is regulated? The insulin secretion is mostly regulated by the increased blood glucose level. An important feature in relation to this is the biphasic action of insulin. Initially, when blood glucose level increases after a meal, the release of insulin into blood increases rapidly. It is because of release of insulin that is stored in the pancreas, and later within 10 to 15 minutes the insulin concentration in the blood reduces to half the value. But after 15 to 20 minutes the insulin secretion rises once again. This time it rises slowly but steadily. The prolonged increase in insulin release is due to the formation of new insulin molecules continuously from the pancreas. Beside this blood glucose level, an increased amino acid level, action of beta keto acids such as acetoacetate, action of gastrointestinal hormones such as gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and GIP, and also due to the stimulation of parasympathetic nerve, insulin secretion is enhanced. Now let's move to the glucagon. Glucagon is another polypeptide with 29 amino acids. Its molecular weight is 3485. Its half-life is 3 to 6 minutes, and it is also secreted from the A cells of stomach and L cells of intestine. Glucagon action is mediated by GPCR CAMP mediated pathway, and like other hormones, it also degraded by liver and kidney. Glucagon secretion is regulated by the decreased blood glucose level, by the increase in amino acid level, by the GI hormone gastrin's cholecystokinin, and by the action of cortisol. And lastly, the stress and exercise also enhances glucagon secretion. But on the other hand, insulin, somatostatin and free fatty acids inhibit glucagon secretion. Clear? Insulin and glucagon has antagonistic action. In carbohydrate metabolism, insulin decreases blood glucose level by facilitating transport and uptake of glucose by all cells except the liver cells, by increasing peripheral utilization of glucose, by increasing glycogenesis in liver and muscle, by preventing glycogenolysis and by preventing gluconeogenesis. But in case of glucagon, the glucagon increases blood glucose level by facilitating glucose transport into liver cells, and by increasing glycogenolysis and by increasing gluconeogenesis. And in case of protein metabolism, insulin facilitates amino acid transport, accelerates protein synthesis, prevents protein catabolism and prevents conversion of proteins into glucose. But glucagon increases transport of amino acids into liver and increases utilization of amino acids for gluconeogenesis. In case of fat metabolism, insulin increases synthesis and storage of fat and it has no ketogenic effect. But glucagon increases lipolysis and promotes ketogenesis. Insulin decreases blood fatty acids while glucagon increases blood fatty acids. And hypersecretion of insulin leads to hypoglycemia, but hypersecretion of glucagon leads to hyperglycemia. And obviously, insulin is an anti-diabetic hormone and glucagon is diabetogenic hormone. So, it's clear that the actions of insulin and glucagon is totally opposite. Another important hormone of pancreas is the somatostatin. It is another polypeptide and synthesized in two forms, namely somatostatin 14 with 14 amino acids and somatostatin 28 with 28 amino acids. The half-life of somatostatin is 2 to 4 minutes. It is also secreted from D cells in stomach and upper part of small intestine and also from the hypothalamus. And it is degraded by liver and kidneys. Functions of somatostatin are as follows. Somatostatin acts within islets of Langerhans and inhibits the beta and alpha cells, that is, it inhibits the secretion of both glucagon and insulin. It decreases the motility of stomach, duodenum and gallbladder. It reduces the secretion of GI hormones, gastrin, cholecystokinin, GIP and VIP. We will learn later about the GI hormones in details. And lastly, the hypothalamic somatostatin inhibits the secretion of GH, that is growth hormone, and TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, from anterior pituitary. Pancreatic polypeptide consists of 36 amino acids. It has a half-life of 5 minutes. The secretion of pancreatic polypeptide is stimulated by the presence of chyme containing more proteins in the small intestine. It increases the secretion of glucagon from alpha cells in islets of Langerhans. It is degraded and removed from circulation mainly in the kidneys. Now, the abnormalities in insulin secretion results in different health conditions. Hyperactivity of insulin leads to diabetes mellitus. So, the diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder characterized by high blood glucose level associated with other manifestations. The name diabetes mellitus was coined by Thomas Willis, who discovered the sweetness of urine from diabetics in 1675. And the diabetes mellitus is of two types, the type 1 diabetes mellitus and type 2 diabetes mellitus. So, the type 1 diabetes mellitus is the insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, IDDM, and the type 2 diabetes mellitus is also known as non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus or NIDDM. The cause of the type 1 diabetes mellitus is insulin deficiency, while the cause of type 2 diabetes mellitus is the deficiency of insulin receptors. In case of type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is immune destruction of beta cells. So, this is a type of autoimmune disease. But in case of type 2 diabetes mellitus, there is no immune destruction. The type 1 diabetes mellitus can start suddenly, but the type 2 diabetes mellitus starts gradually. In case of type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is no insulin resistance, but in case of type 2, it is. The prevalence of type 1 is only 5%, but the prevalence of type 2 diabetes mellitus is 95%. The age of onset of type 1 type is mostly in young person, and the age of onset of type 2 type is in aged person. In case of type 1, the body becomes thin, but in case of type 2, the patient becomes overweight usually. In case of type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is always a need for insulin. Therefore, as a treatment, insulin injection can be given. But in case of type 2 diabetes mellitus, as there is sufficient insulin, so there is no need for insulin in this initial stage, and the only treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus is the lifestyle modification. I hope the differences are clear to you. So, in normal condition, when insulin binds to the insulin receptors, then the glucose can enter the cell through the glucose transporters. But in case of type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is no insulin, so the glucose cannot enter the cell. And in case of type 2 diabetes mellitus, though the insulin are sufficient, but there is a lack of insulin receptors. So, in this case also, glucose cannot enter the cell. Thus, in diabetes mellitus, as the cell cannot utilize glucose, hence the level of blood glucose level increases. Clear? The important symptoms of diabetes mellitus are the glucosuria, that means loss of glucose through urine, osmotic diuresis, polyuria or excess urination, polyphagia or increased hunger, polydipsia or increased water intake due to increased thirst, late healing of wound and infections, blood effusions, and lastly the weight loss. So, as a mnemonic, it can be said as Gopi 3LBW. If you are a cricket lover, then this mnemonic will help you for sure. On the other hand, hyperactivity of insulin can result in hyperinsulinism or hyperinsulinemia. This can be caused by the tumor of beta cells in the islets of Langerhans. The signs of symptoms include hypoglycemia or blood glucose level falls below 50 mg per dl, and manifestations of central nervous system also occur. It occurs when the blood glucose level decreases. All the manifestations are together called neuroglycopenic symptoms. At last but not the least, the fun fact about pancreas is that Pancreas has taste receptor cells that let it sense the presence of sugar. It can taste artificial sweeteners too. However, unlike the taste buds on our tongue, it does not relay the sensation back to the brain. Instead, this sensory information helps the pancreas balance out the hormones and maintain healthy glucose levels in the body. For more interesting fun fact, please like our Facebook page Bioholic. That's all about pancreatic hormones. I hope you have understood the lesson. Now test yourself through the self-assessment test. The link is given in the description. Next Friday we will meet with another interesting lesson on our gonadal hormones. So don't forget to subscribe our channel Bioholic and hit the bell icon to get notified about all our videos at the earliest. And yes, if you feel that this video is beneficial, then hit the like button and write your feedback in the comment sections. And you can also mail us your doubt to us. The mail address is provided in the description box. So take care of yourself. See you soon.